No matter how well you manage your aquarium, it's fairly inevitable that algae of some kind will find a way to thrive. Since the earliest days of the aquarium hobby, there's been a role for algae-eating animals. Some of these come with their own issues, such as adult size or territorial aggression, that make them unsuitable for most home aquaria and have become less popular as a consequence. Species such as sucking loaches and common Plecs are becoming less frequently seen after years of being the default algae eaters of choice. They still have a place in the right setup, but better options are available. No discussion of algae control would be complete without first looking at the role of water quality. In most aquaria, nutrients such as nitrate and phosphate accumulate and fuel plant growth. In the absence of prolific plant growth, algae will take full advantage, especially when the more complex plants are hampered by a lack of iron and other elements essential to growth. Many animals adapted to graze on algae are naturally found in flowing water, where other food sources are scarce. These habitats often feature lots of bright light and shallow water, which the algae love, but also tend to be very clean and fresh. This gives rise to a paradox that can be problematic. The conditions that encourage algae in the aquarium can be harmful to animals that eat it, so make sure you carry out plenty of water changes before introducing algae eaters. Starting with a couple of the best choices, the Ancistrus or bristlenose Plec is probably the fish that most people should have. Now bred into a range of colour and fin forms, Ancistrus are good community fish and excellent algae eaters. They don't do well with fuzzy or filamentous types, but even young fish can make a huge difference to the appearance of your aquarium. Medium-sized in Plec terms, these fish can be kept singly, but are easily bred if kept in pairs or groups. Males do all the parental work and will defend a spawning cave from other bottom dwellers. For smaller setups, especially those with plenty of plant growth, Otocinclus are a great option. Small and sociable, Ottos are particularly good at controlling brown algae, but need a well-established aquarium to thrive. There's a staggering array of L-number Plecs available, and many of them don't eat algae. Do your research before selecting any that take your fancy, or just enjoy them for their looks. Some are stunning creatures. Moving on from what Plecs are capable of controlling, furry algae need a slightly different skill set and a more browsing style. The Siamese Algae-Eater, or flying fox, is perfect for tackling these growths and is peaceful enough to live alongside most community fish, especially when kept as a small group. Historically, this fish has been confused with a few other species, so make sure you're getting the right fish to control algae. For temperate aquaria, the spotted Garra is a fairly new import, which provides similar services. In the right setup, Rosy Barbs are also great for eating green filamentous algae as well. Some algae are a real challenge, and blue-green or cyanobacteria are pretty distasteful as well as unsightly. Sphenops Mollies will tackle these, as well as other forms of algae. Make sure you select fish with small guppy-like dorsal fins, as sailfin mollies need either a very high KH or the addition of salt to thrive. This is particularly important when looking at black mollies, which may be either Sphenops or sailfin. It's not just fish that earn their keep. Shrimps and snails can be great at controlling algae too. Snails can be a bit too prolific in some settings, but Nerite snails are useful algae eaters that lay eggs which only hatch in salt water. These little white calcified dots can be a bit unsightly, but nothing compared to the algae that the adults consume. Nerites don't thrive in acidic water and may show signs of shell erosion in low pH conditions. Other species, such as apple snails, are poor algae eaters, more likely to tuck into plants if given the opportunity. Shrimps have become extremely popular pets for small aquaria, and many enjoy grazing on algae and detritus. The Amano shrimp earns its name from the famous aquascaper Takashi Amano, who first used them in his planted aquaria to control algae. Now bred in a couple of colour forms, these hard-working crustaceans are still less glamorous than cherry shrimp, which spend most of their time searching for edible scraps. Whatever algae eater you choose, make sure that they get enough to eat once the job is done. Sinking foods containing algae are usually eagerly taken by all of the cleanup crew, as well as occasional treats such as cucumber or sweet potato.